Well, hello there. It's Krista Watson from Christa Quilts, and I'm so excited to be back with you for another quilt chat. It's been quite a while. Well, you'll notice there's been a dramatic change in my appearance since the last time you saw me. I chopped off my hair. How cool is that? I had been growing out my hair over the last 2 years, knowing that I wanted to donate it, and I finally took the plunge and did it. I cut off 14 inches that I was able to donate to a worthy cause. Couldn't be more thrilled about it, and it's so much lighter and airier. Well, the last few weeks I have been traveling. I've been to Bernina University. I've taught at quilt shops and quilt guilds. So I thought this week I would give you a little bit of a travelogue update. I'll share some pictures, a little bit of video about my adventures, both quilty and both personal, and I hope you'll indulge me. So July kicked off with Bernina University, a flagship event for dealers and vendors where they introduced a couple of new K-Facet branded sewing machines. Aren't they beautiful? Here's a little behind the scenes of vendor setup. That large space is for Benertex, and my smaller booth was nearby. It took a full day to unpack and set everything up in time for the opening reception on the first night of the show. Now here's a closer look at my vendor booth. I had quilts on display along with my Christa cabinet from Arrow so that I could share machine quilting demos throughout the event. On the left-hand side of my booth, I hung up quilts made from my current fabric line, Black, White, and Bright from Benertex, along with several quilts from my book, How Do I Quilt It? There's my Blooming Wallflowers quilt, one of the versions of Pinwheel Tessellations, and a close-up look at my new notions from Brewer, which is the sister company to Benertex that distributes notions and patterns. Moving on, you can see my cover quilt daisy chain over on the table there, modern logs on the wall, and bling in the hashtags layout made from Black, White, and Bright. Now right next to bling is another version of it made in my new Stitchy fabric line. Folks were blown away when they realized this was the same pattern side by side, just with different layouts and different fabrics. My free pattern herringbone is hanging up on the other side next to a remake of terrace tiles also in Stitchy, and I filled in little gaps in the booth with some other quilts. At the front of the convention hall was a really nice display of my fabrics along with my new notions and books. I introduced a mini mat and ruler, which are perfect for making small cuts or trimming the binding ends while you're at your sewing machine. Next, my machine quilting gloves have my cute little logo on them, and my current popular book, 99 Machine Quilting Designs, was on display. There was a flyer that shops could take with all of that info on it so they could make their purchasing decisions of what they want to carry in their shops. On the other side of the display are my new rotary cutter, batting shears, and a creasing tool, along with my new book, How Do I Quilt It? I'll be sharing more about all of my new notions once they're available in the coming weeks. I can't wait to tell you more about them. I had a great time demoing and creating promotional spots for Brewer. And for those of you that don't know, Bernina not only owns Brewer, they own the fabric company Benertex. Here I am at dinner with just some of the fabulous Benertex team and one of the other Benertex designers and good friend of mine, Cherry Goudry. Here's a peek of Cherry's designer booth at the show. Hers was a few booths down from mine. Her style is so cute and so whimsical, and she does a lot of applique and machine embroidery, which folks seem to love. The really fun thing about working with Benertex is each of us designers have our own little look and style that are completely different from everyone else. So right next to my booth, wedged in between me and the larger Benertex booth, was this awesome professional embroidery machine called the E16. I quickly made friends with the demo guy, and he even stitched out my logo onto a hat for me. Isn't that cool? After that whirlwind event, it was time for a few days of relaxation on the beach. For my kids, that meant boogie boarding and video game playing at the beach house, while for me, I love to sit in a handbind next to the ocean waves. You can see the little beach house we stayed at. It's that little teal one off in the distance. After a few days at home to regroup, our next destination was a visit to Denver, Colorado, and the newest installment of Meow Wolf, a fun and funky interactive art installation that also has some gaming element involved. It's actually very hard to describe it in just a few words, but they do have additional locations in Santa Fe, my hometown of Las Vegas, and 2 of them coming online soon to Texas. I cannot wait because I do travel to Texas a lot. To get a better sense of what it's all about, just Google Meow Wolf or check him out on Instagram, and you'll really understand the amazing look and feel of this awesome place. I was invited to Denver to give a machine quilting workshop and lecture to a local guild, and I just love it when I can bring my family along for the ride. After our tour of Denver was over, we headed up to Seattle to visit my oldest son, who recently landed his dream job as a software developer for Amazon. While there, we got to tour many of the Amazon buildings. They actually own 50 different buildings downtown. It's crazy. And we got to check out some amazing views of the downtown area. Of course, while we're there, we had to visit the iconic Space Needle for more amazing views of the city. It was quite a trip to look down through the revolving glass floor and not get a little woozy. We also enjoyed the non-downtown areas, which were amazing and beautiful and green. And I was able to sneak in a gig at a local quilt shop, which sadly I didn't get any pictures of. We also enjoyed the majesty of Mount Rainier. It was such an amazing vacation, but the best thing of all with traveling with my children is watching them enjoy being with each other. As a mom, that just makes me so happy. But with all that, I'm excited to be back home again and back to a regular schedule. Just a couple other updates that have been happening. As many of you know who pre-ordered my brand new book, How Do I Quilt It? It has now hit the market. It's being very well received, and I have a signed copy waiting for you. If you want me to include a personalized message, just let me know when you make your purchase. The other exciting thing that's happened is that my quilting cabinet, my Christa table, is showing up all over the country, which is super fabulous. It came out a little bit earlier this year, and it's also been well received. And there is an accessory that goes with it called Christa's Quilt Blocks that keep your quilt from falling off the edges. And it makes such a world of difference when it comes to machine quilting. So you can purchase the cabinet from any Aero dealer, or if you don't have one nearby, you can order it actually directly from me. You can order the cabinet, you can order the quilt blocks to go with it, or if you have a cabinet, you can order the quilt blocks separately. So while we wait for Stitchy to come out, that's my brand new line that ships in October, I put together a special custom bundle of low volume prints. Now these are from 2 of my current collections called Good Vibes and Black, White, and Bright, and it's a collection of 12 fat quarters. You can use either the front side or the back side to give your quilts a little more depth and texture in the background. The other thing that I will have coming up for you soon is a free pattern from Stitchy. So while I'm working behind the scenes, I have a couple more quilts that I'm making from Stitchy. Once those are all done and videos are filmed, I will start releasing those in time for the collection to arrive in October. And I will start pre-ordering the fabric soon, and I'll release the free pattern as well. So I know a lot of this is just a little bit of teaser, behind the scenes, kind of catching up with you, but it's been a wonderful time these last few weeks, and now I'm home until October, until I start heading out to teach again. So I hope that you will hang out with me. I hope that you will let me know what's going on in your quilty world. Leave me a comment. Join my Facebook group, follow me on all the social media, and let me know how I can help you improve your machine quilting. Until next time, happy quilting!